Welcome back to Zen Life Insights. In today's video, we're going to explore how we can deal with anxiety, a feeling that many of us experience at some point in our lives. Whether it's the fear of the unknown, overwhelming stress, or intrusive thoughts about the future, anxiety can feel all-consuming. But there are practical steps, grounded in Buddhist philosophy and mindfulness, that can help us find peace in moments of anxiety. Let's dive into how we can use the wisdom of the Buddha and mindful practices to calm our minds and regain control. When anxiety strikes, the first step is to acknowledge it. Buddhist teachings often emphasize the importance of mindfulness and being aware of the present moment. This principle is incredibly effective when it comes to managing anxiety. Why acceptance is key. When we try to push away feelings of anxiety, we end up reinforcing them. It's like trying to suppress a balloon underwater. The more we resist, the more it pushes back. By simply acknowledging our feelings, we create space for them to dissipate naturally. Example: imagine you're standing on the edge of a cliff, afraid of jumping into the water below. The more you resist, the more you fuel your fear. But if you calmly acknowledge, "I am afraid," without judgment, that fear begins to lose its grip on you. Personal insight: in my own journey with anxiety, I've learned that the act of accepting my anxiety without fighting it allows me to move through it more gracefully. This acceptance is liberating because it frees us from the need to control or suppress our emotions, which can often make them worse. The second step is to simplify your thoughts and focus on what is in your control. When anxiety takes over, our minds often race with thoughts about everything happening at once. This mental overload is a major source of stress. Practical approach: start by sitting in a quiet space, writing down your fears, and separating them into what you can control and what you can't. This simple act of clarification helps us break down overwhelming situations into manageable steps. Example: imagine you have a project at work with a tight deadline. Instead of thinking about every task you need to accomplish, focus on one step at a time. Right now, I need to draft the introduction. Personal insight: a great practice I've learned from Buddhist teachings is to treat each task as if it were the only thing happening in the world at that moment. When I do this, I'm able to work with full presence and avoid the paralyzing grip of anxiety. Once you've focused on one task at a time, take things slowly. Our bodies and minds are deeply connected, and when we slow down physically, we can calm our mental state. Why slowing down works: anxiety often leads to a racing heart and shallow breathing. In these moments, it's helpful to deliberately slow your actions. Buddhist meditation masters often teach that when the mind is agitated, we should slow our movements to restore calm. Example: if you're feeling anxious, instead of rushing through tasks, try walking slowly, breathing deeply, and performing actions mindfully. This physical slowness helps reduce the mental speed and anxiety. Personal insight: when I find myself overwhelmed, I take a few deep breaths and consciously slow down the pace of everything I'm doing. This helps me feel more grounded and focused, allowing me to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Completing tasks is essential for relieving anxiety. When we leave tasks unfinished, they can weigh on us and intensify our stress. Buddhist perspective: in Buddhism, there's an emphasis on mindfulness in every action. By finishing each task with full presence, we honor the present moment, which is the key to overcoming anxious thoughts about the future. Example: if you're cleaning your home, focus on completing one room at a time, fully engaging with the task. This mindfulness not only helps you finish your chores, But it also calms your anxious mind. Personal insight: I've found that when I complete even the smallest task, it creates a sense of accomplishment. Each task I finish is like a small victory. And that momentum helps me stay grounded, even when the future feels uncertain. Having practiced mindfulness and applied Buddhist principles in my own life, I've come to realize that dealing with anxiety isn't about avoiding discomfort. It's about shifting our relationship with discomfort. Anxiety is often rooted in our attachment to the future, our desire for certainty, and our fear of the unknown. Buddhist teachings help us to loosen these attachments and see that uncertainty is not something to fear, but something to embrace. Letting go of control: anxiety often stems from our desire to control things outside of our control. In Buddhism, we learn to embrace impermanence. Everything is changing, and we cannot control it all. When we let go of the need to control everything, we find peace in the present moment. Living with compassion: another lesson I've learned is the importance of self-compassion. When anxiety strikes, we often criticize ourselves, thinking we should be stronger or more in control. But the Buddha teaches that true strength comes from accepting ourselves, flaws and all. Acceptance: the first step in dealing with anxiety is to acknowledge it without judgment. By accepting your anxious thoughts, you create space for them to pass, one step at a time. When overwhelmed, break things down into manageable tasks. Focus on what is in your control, and take one deliberate action at a time. Slow down in moments of anxiety. Take a few deep breaths. Slow your actions, and focus on being present. This can calm both your body and mind. Complete the task: finish one task before moving on to the next. This will help you feel a sense of accomplishment and reduce anxiety. By applying these principles from Buddhist philosophy and mindfulness, we can reduce the grip of anxiety on our lives and move towards a place of calm and peace. Remember, every journey starts with a single step. Begin today with acceptance and mindfulness, and let go of your fears about the future. I hope these insights help you in your journey toward overcoming anxiety. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, take it one step at a time. The path to peace begins with you.